at all. You know, I mean, we have wonderful intentions, and I do believe that Eliphaz is a real good friend. He's not the monster that so many commentators have made him out to be. But obviously, he's not quite in tune with the problems of Job, and he's not listening very well to Job. Probably because, as we've noted, he has preconceived notions about how the world works. And in those preconceived notions, where some of them are not completely inaccurate, he, of course, applies it to absolutely everyone. And so we noted the fact that his main premise is, if you're righteous, you're always going to prosper, and if you're not righteous, then God's going to punish you, and that's the way the world works. I would venture to say that probably he knew better, but he doesn't have any other personal information to work on than that premise, and he believes that premise, or he wouldn't have presented it as strongly as he did. We've already noted that that's not the case. There are abundant number of examples throughout Scripture that indicate that's simply not the way it works. And it becomes a complicated issue as to, even in the Old Testament, when God is actually doing something directly, or when it's just a matter of our own stupidity, or it happens to be something else, you know, that is transpiring in life as it goes on. Job is exceedingly confused. He just simply doesn't understand why he's getting the ribbing from his dear friend. He can't wrap his mind around it, seems. When he himself is already examined his own life and come to the conclusion, I've done nothing wrong. I don't know how I can express that, but he's going to try. He's going to try to express that in part of his speech. Right at the end of our lesson here, there's our outline. Right at the end of our lesson, we had 4 rules to follow when giving advice. Maybe part of the purpose for the advice that Eliphaz gave and why it's recorded for us is to caution us when we're trying to be comforting and helpful to others. How do we approach it? You know, there's several things that we sometimes do. One is we approach it wrongly. 2, we don't approach it at all, and neither are correct. They are simply not valid when we're dealing with our friends and our family. We are to approach it, but how do we approach it? What do we say? How do we say it? And then what comes from that are things that we need to very carefully think through. Maybe some of these rules of thumb, if you will help us along that journey. We'll learn a few passages from the New Testament to kind of stimulate our thinking about helping others. So, first off, speak the truth in love. You know, there are several ways to speak truth. And sometimes we believe it's true, but our love isn't what it should be. We're going to look at that more closely in just a minute. 2, turn people toward our awesome God. Eliphaz tried to do that. We recognize that we should turn to God, turning people to God. One of my boys was talking about one of his friends and having some struggles or whatever, you know, and I said, well, the answer is still the Lord. You know, should we not turn to God for the answer? Even